All right, let's head over to game number 2 this evening, and this is going to be the Regen Bowl. We've got the Goodest Boys Strike Back versus the Arlington Nationals. Old Gamer Mike versus B-Dog. We've got Necromantic Horror versus the Undead. Oh, is he really taking Bruce Campbell? I'm sorry, Bryce the Slice Campbell. Going to pick up the chainsaw play. I've never seen Bryce on the pitch ever. This will be great. So he's picking up Bryce Campbell, and Ivan, the Animal Death Shroud, has a coach and a keg as well. Bryce the Slice. Oh, I love that. He cut his own head off. I think either coach will pick to start. Why can't I speak today? I would choose to be on offense to start, and indeed the Nationals will choose to be on offense. So we've seen how these Necro teams work a lot over the course of the season. These ghoul runners, these werewolves, these are the ball carriers. The werewolves are massive killers. MA8 with frenzy, with claws. Of course, he's picked up tackle and block on them as well. The ghoul runners, also good ball carriers. I think both are blodgers. Oh no, he's got a rookie. So one is a blodger with sure hands, so that'll be the kickoff return player. And then the Undead, we haven't seen a whole lot of Undead this season. Undead, I think, are a fantastic team. I think they are great right out of the gate, and they continue to stay strong. So these mummies, arguably one of the best big guys in the game of Blood Bowl, and that is because they have no nega traits, right? So you have these two mummies. They're strength of 5. They both have Mighty Blow. You tend to pick up guard on them, and then they can pair up and basically be a strength of 6. Their big downside is that they're very, very slow. They're slower than dwarves. They have an MA of 3. You have ghoul runners on this roster as well. You can take up to 4 of them, right? That's where your speed comes in. That's where you get that dodge skill, so you can kind of get where you want to be. The whites are the blitzers. You get MA 6 with block. That's pretty decent, I would say. And then, of course, you have the linemen. You actually have a choice of linemen. You can pick up the zombies, which I prefer, which is MA 4 with a great stat line otherwise. But more importantly, they're 40K. They're super duper cheap, right? Super duper cheap. And because you're a regen team, you can get more of them for free. Or you can pick up the skeletons, which gain a movement. They lose an armor value. They also get thick skull, I think. Here's the kick. Some people prefer them for that extra movement as an assist player or as a fouler, but I think the Zombos are awesome. BB Nut says, wait, we've got a prayer to Nuffle. All right, completions are worth 2 SVP instead of 1. Turn 1 underway for the Nationals. BB Nut says, I'm sad, and BB 2025 mummies have been downgraded to big guys. Oh, what do you mean? C says, if B-Dog wins this, will he take the top spot? Possibly. He'd have to win by... If B-Dog wins it... So here, we'll kick over to that real quick. Oh, yeah, I've got... Oh, let me do that first. Yeah, I almost forgot. Thank you. Let me do that first. Typically, the way I would set up the predictions is I'd give you the whole pregame, or I'd give you the whole countdown and the whole pregame, and then 5 minutes of the real game. So we'll just set it to a 5-minute timer here. All right, I think I did that right. I got the draw in there. Oh, BBNet says big guy trait means they can't use secure the ball. Yeah, secure the ball is a new action in the game in BB 2025 where anyone can declare they're picking up the ball for a 2+, provided I guess they don't have that trait, and provided that there are no opposing players within, I think, 2 spaces of the ball. 2 spaces of the ball or 2 places of the secure the ball player. I don't really remember. But now we'll go back to here. Yeah, so the Arlington Nationals currently in 5th place. If they win, that'll bring their points up. You get 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw. That'll bring their points up to 7. That will tie for 1st place. However, the first tiebreakers, who beat whom, those 2 teams haven't played each other yet, so then it goes to your TD differential. The Arlington Nationals, if they win by 1, or if they win exactly 1-0, that will still be a draw. And then, it'll still be a draw, and then it will go to your TD scored. And so in that case, it would still be a draw, and then that would be a tie for first. If they win by 1, by scoring more than 1 touchdown, well, I guess we could say if they win and score more than 1 touchdown, then they'll be in 1st place by themselves. Mr. Rocker. That's right. That'd be kind of funny. There's always, if there's like always an option missing, I think that would be great. All right, the Undead team has the ball in the hands of James Frankorps on their own 12-yard line right now. I kind of hope that happens. I don't hope that happens. I really don't. It really sucks when like you're in the middle of a game and then you can't complete it for some reason. Frenzy follow-up here with the Werewolves. So the Werewolves have Frenzy. What's great with wow, couldn't get a knockdown there, even having despite having tackle. Frenzy says on your first block, you've got to follow. If it results in a push, you must follow up, and if you're the block player is still standing, you have to take a second block. This is great for trying to knock players down, right? Because you're rolling more dice to try to get that face you need to knock them down. Bad for positioning because you must follow up. And so if you're taking a blitz or a block against someone where you have to follow up and now you're in a precarious situation, sometimes you've got to dodge away with that werewolf, and they only have an edge of 3. No option for the mercy rule. There is no option for the mercy rule. Turn 2 for the Arlington Nationals. It's whatever the final recorded score would be. Nationals with 1 reroll for the half. 2-die block over on the right side. Now we saw foul appearance on that Nurgle team before. These Wraiths have it as well. They are very, very annoying. As rookies, they have foul appearance, which, as a reminder, if you try to take a block or a blitz on them, you roll a d6. On a 1, you're so disgusted by their appearance, although he looks lovely. He's clearly wearing a football helmet under that under that sheet. But you're so disgusted by their appearance that you refuse to touch them, so you lose that block or that blitz. But they also have sidestep, which means if you don't knock them down, they can pretty much just stay dead. Welcome to the team, bro. I hope the linemen for both teams just swap sides. Oh, man. That Wolf Blitz has a 93% chance to knock that ghoul down. Yeah, so the Wolf has tackle. Tackle negates dodge. That's the only skill that's protecting the ghoul runner. And with Frenzy, right? If that's a 2-die Frenzy Blitz, as it was, that's 4 dice where you're looking for a PAL with the block skill. You're looking for both down. With the tackle skill, you're looking at for defender stumbles. And then, see, PAL, attacker down, defender stumbles. Yeah, I got them all. There's only 6 spaces. I think for dinner tonight, I'm going to have 2 cookies. That's what I'm going to have for dinner. 2 cookies. And I'm going to... try to finish Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm on the final battle again. For the first time since the PSP remake. Oh. Unfortunate block for Mandible Lecter. Failed the foul appearance roll against Raish. And now he's in real danger of being surfed. Two cookies, no cake, no cake. Just 2 cookies. They're cakey cookies, though. So which team has the ghouls after this turn? Only the Necro. Turn 2 for the Goodest boys. They are the team on defense. Well, actually, I have blue and red still on. Let's see what their colors actually are. White and red. That works out great. Yeah. So the Goodest boys in white. Arlington Nationals in red. Whoops. 2-die block on that poor, poor Mandible Lecter. And that's a ghoul runner off the pitch. Here's the blitz. 1-die blitz on James Francorps. Gets a skull. Spends the reroll into a push. Frenzy follow-up. There it is. There it is. That would have been a push if not for the tackle skill. 8+ breaks armor. Claw treats everybody as 8. The ghoul runners already have an 8. Good armor break. Gets a great stun out of this as well. Oh, 1 space away from a touchdown. Fails the ball pickup here. I was going to say, might not spend the reroll. Decided to spend the reroll anyway. Wanted to get this into the hands of the werewolf, get him down a few more spaces. But it's going to fail that pickup instead. 1 reroll for both teams remaining. The Nationals now on turn 3. They're on offense, but the ball is on the ground on their own 14-yard line in the left wide zone. Bringing in a player to mark the werewolf on the sideline, Sam Corgerton. Snake. Snake! Snake! Dun, 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 dun. Another failed foul appearance roll by Ivan the Animal this time, the star player wearing number 13 for the Nationals. Bryce the Slice gets a stun. Bryce, I have never seen Bryce the Slice played before. What's his ability? Ghostly Flames. Wow, he can get a +4 on the chainsaw rather than a +3 once per game. That's cool. He should get a shotgun. Tudai against Raish gets the knockdown. Oh, I think... Oh, good removal. Doesn't matter. I would have sidestepped right here and tried to protect the wolf. Nationals now down to 6 minutes, 23 seconds on the bonus clock. Plenty of time left as they consider the turn. They still have their blitz. I think it's going to be a blitz. Yeah. Oh, going to go for the ball. So 1 die against Robert Schnauzer. A push is enough. He will not follow up here. And then going to try a 3+ to pick up the ball. Did follow up. So follows up there and is now toe-to-toe with Robert Schnauzer. As we go into turn 3, the Goodest boys strike back. Still have Sam Corkington on the pitch. Two-die block. Oh, I almost lost my my wrist rest. Two-die block over the right side of the line here. Gets a knockdown. No armor break. The offensive team pretty disparate at this point. The problem with having your players not in a formation is that you're not getting assists. You're not getting tackle zones between the opponent and where you want to be. So coaches are always looking for ways to try to break apart an opposing formation. Rolls a skull here against Abracadaver. Gets the knockdown thanks to tackle. Is he going to push onto the ball? He does not. And now a 3+ pickup with the Wolf. Works out. Well done to make this a 1-0 ball game. Very well done by Old Gamer Mike. Those werewolves, man, they're very, very good. I love this cheerleaders. Arlington Nationals will be back on offense here. They're going to lose Bryce the Slice unless they can successfully argue the call with the ref. They cannot. So Bryce out of the game. No recoveries either. Yikes. They're going to lose one of those Wraiths. The Wraiths are the blitzers on the team. Sideline puppy is saved. C says I might lose my points tonight for non-ranked reasons. Oh, man. I wanted to get something done today, but I didn't. Because it turned out to be more than I thought it was, which is always the case. Actually, I wanted to get a couple things done today. Actually, I wanted to get like 3 things done today, and I didn't. That's right, yeah. So now if the Nationals win this game, they will take first place for sure by themselves. Electric Man asks, but did you get some gaming done today? Absolutely not. Nope, I did not. I worked all day. I had some leftovers for lunch. Have you just squandered your entire day? I wouldn't say I squandered it. Yeah, okay. If we're going to couch it that way, then yes, I squandered it with work. Doing better than yesterday? Yeah, it's a better day than yesterday for sure. Here's the kick. So a kicker is on the Nationals team. Weather's going to remain the same and get kicked all the way into the end zone as we start turn 4. Today was one of those days where I had like a few things. I was like, oh, this will be straightforward, and nothing was straightforward. You're looking at something and you're like, yeah, so this should do... Wait, what does this do? Wait, why does that happen? Wait, why do I need... What is this? That was the whole day. T-Dye blitz. This will be a knockdown thanks to tackle. Ivan, the animal death shroud. Strength of 4 has tackle. Juggernaut has strip ball. Mr. Rocket Crocker says, oh, so you were coding. Yes, I was. C says, what idiot wrote this garbage? Oh, it was me. If I had a nickel. Yeah, I am the biggest idiot I know. I think that's true for most engineers. But, man, like, I'll look at something, I'll be like, what is this stupid... What is this garbage? And then I'll do a git blame, and it's like, oh, it's me. Problem, right, is that software is so complex that if you're, I'm gonna use the term doing it properly, but I don't mean it in a mean way, but like if you're doing it properly, you're thinking about all sorts of different requirements, and those are changing all the time. And then even if you think you've nailed them down, oh boy, potentially brutal touchback if that reroll's not spent. I think that was a good call to spend the reroll, because that could have gone out of bounds. It was a 3/8 attempt, or a 3/8 chance of going out of bounds, and then that ball could be thrown in anywhere. So now the Nationals down to no reroll, but I think that was a good spend. Like there's so many requirements from many different angles, right? You've got a number of business requirements, then you've got a number of engineering requirements, right? Like, is this efficient in terms of time? Is it efficient in terms of space? Those are usually opposite ends of a spectrum. Is it readable? Is it maintainable? Right? There's so many things to consider. And then when you think you've got that all nailed down, over time, all of those requirements will change, right? Like when you're thinking about something, you could in the same conversation say, this needs to be this way because that is more extensible. And then at the end of the conversation, it's like, actually, never mind. We're going to sacrifice that ability to extend it to make it faster, right? It doesn't have tests, yeah, for sure. C says, I think any developer who looks back at code they've previously written and likes it is just stagnating. I think that's probably a fair assessment. And if you think you've idiot-proofed your code that you don't understand idiots, yes, indeed. I worked with someone, I won't name names, but this was many, many moons ago. I worked with someone who said, he was a lead on a project, and he said, I'm going to make it my mission to write, for our team to write code that has 0 bugs. I'm like, what? Excuse me? Do you know how people work? Dude, I blitz here, do a frenzy follow-up against Dirt Claude Van Dam's. Very, very well done. Gets the knockdown here. Yeah, even with that, like the more stuff you tack on, like the more things you have to consider. Like even with testing, right? You've got unit tests, but then sometimes people kind of mix unit tests with integration tests, and then maybe that works for a little bit, but then it doesn't work later. Like all of a sudden now you've got a whole bunch of unit tests. nobody that knows what I'm talking about. It's just tuned out. But now you've got unit tests that are like bound to systems and stuff, and there's so much to think about. She says the simple way to not have bugs is to write no code. Indeed, yep. Can't agree more. How about those bears? I'm sorry, Electric Man. 2-9 Blitz here against the Wolf. Targeting the Wolf here is very, very smart. These are very important pieces on the Necro roster. It's going to get a dodge push out of this. And then you just have to deal with humanity, right? Beyond that, like, it's very easy for people, for anyone, to like kind of get set in their ways or get like really defensive about a certain thing, or maybe have blinders on and can't see the forest for the trees. Like, we all do that, and so that's why it's important to discuss things. But the point is, there's a lot to discuss, right? There's a lot of things to solve. You can say it explicitly, people are stupid. C says, I love the set of unit tests in a set of code I worked on at one point in which were tied into the underlying operating system's understanding of time and failed whenever the clocks changed for daylight savings. Yeah, so I will say two things that a lot of engineers take for granted, and it's really annoying. It's annoying in my old age, because, like, you know, eventually you learn. But two things that developers take for granted all the time is time and strings. Like, they never grasp how complicated both of those two things are. And there's always, there's often trouble. There's also trouble brewing. Bugs brewing because of that. 2-9 block against Jason Slade. Got the pal here. These names are great. Did you say strings? My cat struggled with them. I did. Strings as in like text. Because it seems straightforward, right? You're like, oh, it's just letters and numbers, except no, it's not. It's lots of different languages, and then it's like, well, how are those represented in memory, right? There's an encoding to it. Dub Skulls here, that'll be a turnover. Turn 6 back to the Nationals. Nationals have the ball caged up on their own 10-yard line. They can still score. They can also open up a lane. In fact, they have a lane open right now for Abracadaver to get to the opposing 6-yard line. C says mixing and matching different encoding mechanisms is also fun. Mr. Rocker Crocker says, oh, I know. I'm currently trying to get my Google Sheets to pull data from one file to another using query searches, and it fights me on strings versus values. Yeah. Oh, no! The misclick! No! Oh, got the removal there on the blitz. But miscliff. Dolph Underground. Dolph Unground. Misclicked there and tried to attempt a Nat 6 dodge. Didn't work out. Mr. Rocker Crocker says, which I know is like baby coding, but man, my brain is hating it. I'm telling you, man, like lots of engineers mess that stuff up too. Like it's complicated. Exactly right, Cease, because it null terminated. Doesn't have an explicit size attribute. Did you write beyond the bounds allocated for the string and corrupt your stack? Yeah, they're like even so. Like strings, I guess it depends on the language, but strings are. It depends on the language, but strings are typically backed by what's called a character array. So it's just an ordered list of characters of like letters or numbers or whatever, and those are immutable, meaning you can't change those. So a lot of developers take for granted that there's an operator in most languages, like a plus, that you could add two strings together. So you could say like, hello, Ava, right? And maybe I grabbed my name from somewhere else and I just quote unquote add them together. But they're immutable. So what's actually happening is under the hood, you are allocating memory for a whole new array, and then you're shoving the hello array, right? That hello part into the first part of that array, and then the next part and the next part of the array. And if you do that over and over and over and over and over again, there's a lot of overhead to creating new arrays, right? And there's techniques to mitigate that, where like you make the arrays a little bigger than you think you'll need them next time. But really, if you're doing that, you shouldn't be doing this at all. You should use something called a string builder. And that's, instead of being backed by an array that's immutable, you back it by a list or some construct that is designed to be changed. And so you don't have all that overhead. And then when you're done at the end, you can turn it into a proper string. Turn 7 now for the Nationals. Mr. Rocker Cracker says, wait, under the hood, now we have to work on cars? C says, I concatenate strings by having an array of pointers into an alphabet table. Dude-Eye Blitz here by Michael Corpsleone against Robert Schnauzer. He's going to get a dodge push out of this. You can see this is why block and dodge are so important. If you're brand new to Blood Bowl, focus on those two skills. Block and dodge are very, very, very important skills. And that's why you'll see players later in league play pick up skills to negate those or to combat them in some way. Skills like wrestle, skills like tackle. Arlington Nationals need to end this turn in scoring position if they want to get on the board. So they're going to advance. It looks to be to the opposing 4-yard line, but that's not going to be enough. Can they even get there? 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they've got it. The current ball carrier has to get to the opposing 8-yard line, but the failed rush that fails 900% of the time. Oh, it means that's going to be a turnover. So now the Goodest boys, they can breathe a little easier now. I don't think Ivan. Well, Ivan can technically score. Yeah, rushes has been terrible. Yeah, time is another thing that'll trip people up a lot too. People have a lot of time's a little different because it's not so much about like a lack of technical knowledge as it is a lack of general knowledge about how time works. So everybody thinks they know how time works, but they don't. People think, oh, there's one time in one time zone. That's not true. People think, oh, well, there's certainly one time in one geographic area in a time zone. That's not true. People say, oh, I assume this is local time. That's not true. I assume this is UTC. Well, wrong again. Oh, well, if I store it as a string, nope, don't do that. Oh, well, I can do math on it. What, can you? Can you? Are you storing it as an epoch time? What do you do with your minuses? Are you considering that? The real answer is use a library. Don't do it yourself. Turn 8 now for the Nationals. If I had a nickel for every sinking mechanism I've seen based on time that got screwed up because of time, I'd be a very rich man. Final turn of the first quarter coming up here. Goodest boys can get on the board again, and they're going to try 2-die block against John Malkovich. Gets a pal here. Good removal here to get rid of the whites. 2 SPP for the Flesh Golem. The white regen will kick in. He'll come back for the second half of the game. C says, simple concept. I want my alarm to go off 3 p.m. every day, but implementing it requires understanding whether they actually want it at 3 p.m. local time at the same time relative to UTC each day, and what impact changes for the savings have. Yes, indeed. Claffy says, regen, boo. My Norse never regen. No, they don't. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Yeah, exactly right. Like, people, I mean, simple assumptions like, well, surely there's only 24 hours in a day, right? No, that's not true. We just went through daylight savings time. You had more actual hours, you know? Or, oh, well, you know, there's only so many days in a year. That's not true. Two-die block against Michael Corpse Leone. This will work out due to the block skill. No rerolls left, so this is pretty good. Blitz still on the table, trying to clear the ball. Ball pickup on the blitz. Two-die blitz will get the knockdown here. Very well done by Old Gamer Mike. I think he's got a rush to get through still. Yeah, one rush will do it. There it is. So well done. 2-0 the score. Very well done. So the Goodest boys with the impenetrable defense. You saw the Arlington Nationals fought there. They had that cage set up. Tried to move that ball forward, but this Necro team with great use of those wolves, great use of those ghoul runners. That's where all the speed is. That's where the ball carrying capabilities really come from as well. And Old Gamer Mike used that very well to his advantage to come up with 2 defensive touchdowns. And now they'll be on offense to start the second half, so they're feeling pretty good at this point in the game. They just need to not flub it, right? They know the Nationals now have to start taking risks to hit the ball back. The question is, when do you start taking those risks, and when do you kind of hold back? It's very easy to say, look, I'm down 2 touchdowns. I'm just going to YOLO right out of the gate. Yeah, I'm going to burn this reroll. Yeah, I'm going to burn that reroll. And now you're in a pickle. But conversely, you can't take your time for too long because you've got to score, and then you've got to take the ball back again and score again. Wow, had to bribe Nuffle with that rush. Clive says, is this the first dead versus other type of dead game we've had this competition? I believe it is, yes. Nationals to set up in, let's call that a 3-4-4. They've got 2 in either wide zone. Ivan the Animal over in the right wide zone. Strength of 4 again, has tackle, block, and juggernaut. Ajax the Riot rooting for the defense. Let's see, who's winning right now? Oh, there's some bets. There's some bets on Necro by 2. In fact, most bets are on Necro by 2. Good catch here on the high kick. Pug Johnson on the kickoff return is going to move the ball all the way up to the 10-yard line. Kuromi VTuber, welcome to the stream. This game is called Blood Bowl. It is fantasy football, except the fantasy are orcs and elves and vampires and zombies. Two-die block against Chuck No Ribs. Gets a foul here. Man, I think B-Dog has to win on names alone. Good removal. Eridus, welcome to the stream. Demanding some death. We've had some tonight already. Good block against Chuck No Ribs to get the 2 SPP. Yeah, Sisk is absolutely right. And there's even, you can even be in situations where you're not using like the Gregorian calendar, right? Or you're not using a familiar calendar, I suppose, right? You could be using, like a Japanese imperial year, right? Like there's all sorts of things about time that people assume. Two-die blitz against Sylvester Stabone. Boy, he's killing all the action stars. We're gonna have no more canon films. I guess that's a good thing. Was Sylvester Stallone ever? Yeah, he was in a canon film. He was in that arm wrestling one. No more Expendables. That's right. What is going on here? Oh my God! Jason, slay him! Somebody help the man! Malik, welcome to the stream. Over the top, that's what it was. That's right, over the top. Restless sake, Flynn syndrome. Turn 9 now for the Nationals. They're down 2 players. They've got 2 rerolls for the game. They're also down 2 touchdowns. Rough start in the first half. Really got to watch out for these players here and these players here, right? The Wolves over in the left wide zone with an MA of 8. They're also killers. Boy, everybody's a killer tonight. Holy moly. Great removal by Bruce Killis. Regen does not proc. So that's a permanently removed player. The Ghoul Runner is also pretty fast here with an MA of 7. They also have the dodge skill. Everyone but Morg. Under a minute to go here in turn number 9. Repositioning Abracadaver back into the secondary here, trying to get ahead of those werewolves. Morg did kill a player, just on the wrong team. Here's the blitz over on the right side of the line. 2-die blitz against Pleather. Gets the knockdowns, looking for a 9+ to break armor. Morg literally threw a player into his grave. All right, not literally. Nationals back on the bonus clock here. 5 minutes, 10 seconds to go. B-Dog doing a pretty good job here with the formations, both in the first half here and in the second half. I think the key here is really going to be to watch out for the Ghoul Runners and the Werewolves. The problem for the Nationals at this point, I think, is if they get overly aggressive, they have to get aggressive. And if they get overly aggressive, they're going to find themselves behind the ball because the opposing team, this Necro team, has the speed advantage. Reroll spent. You get a dodge push against Robert Schnauzer to try to hold a wolf to a blitz. Turn 10 now for Goodest boys strike back. Oh, thank God his leg's normal now. Oh, are you all right? But it looks like he's not okay. He doesn't even want to stand on it. Well, too bad the league has no health care. You're all dead anyway. Electric Man says that's the biggest downside to Undead, the speed. Yes, indeed. They'll be in trouble with the unions if this keeps up. So now the defense pulled into center field here. You can see the offense is trying to shut them down. It looks like it's going to be on the right side here. Two-die blitz on the left, wide zone. Gets a pal against John Malkilvich. So fast. Gets a knockdown and then takes a mark against Abracadaver. Abracadaver, the blodger, marked by 2 tackle players. So that means if Abracadaver tries to dodge away, they're not going to get the free reroll, since tackle negates dodge in every way, not just on the blocks, but also if you try to get the free reroll. 10 seconds on the clock here for the Goodest boys. Did I say our second. I confused myself. I was like, our second game. Our second game, boy. Our third game this evening is scheduled to start in about 11 minutes from 11 minutes from now. We'll probably kick over to that game when it begins, and we'll catch that from the beginning. And that'll be our third and final game of the evening. Blitz on a wolf. Targeting the wolf, I think, is a great call. Got a 5+. Got a POW out of this. No armor break. I'm also not a fan of the Bryce the Slice pick. I thought it was great to watch it played. I think chainsaws are powerful. I think his once per game is powerful as well. But for the money for a secret weapon, I don't know. I don't like them myself. But maybe I just don't know how to use them. Words are hard. Now 2-die back on the line. Gets a POW against Richard Mastiff. So he'll stand firm here, but he's going to get knocked down. A 9+ will break armor due to Dolph Undgren's Mighty Blow. Nick Gaggy says they're expensive and super unreliable. Fair enough. Zaya71 with the sub. Thank you very, very much. Good to have you. Thank you for your kindness. I appreciate it. Don't you mean, are you a pirate? Isaiah71 says getting ready for the 7 p.m. game. Yes, indeed. We'll switch over to that in 9 minutes. Problem with overlapping games is I don't think can I start a new prediction? We'll see. I don't think so. Let me look it up. Yeah, you can only have one prediction, so we'll have to. We won't be able to set up a prediction for the third game. I think giving people more than 5 minutes into the game. I think 5 minutes is fun to kind of see how the game's shaping up, but then after that, you have too much information. I think. Just cancel this prediction and refund the points. I don't think that would be fair. I think people deserve to get paid out. 2-die block. Back at center field. Gets a push out of this against Dirk Claude Van Damme. Fair after last night? You want to talk about fair? Listen. You didn't have the right prediction. Zaya says, I think elves are fast and agile. Indeed they are. 30 seconds to go here in turn 11 for the Goodest boys as they try to figure out what they want to do here. They're just outside of scoring range here with Pug Johnson. You didn't select a result which matched the game we watched. I selected the result where nobody won. I argue that was in the spirit of the bet. Oh God, Pug Johnson is like disappearing into Tron world. One die block against Abracadabra. There's the armor break. Gets a stun. Avis predictions where nobody wins. That's gonna be the tagline of my casino. Avis Casino, where nobody wins, where everybody leaves destitute. Turn 11 now for the Nationals. Hey, did you ever think to yourself, man, I got too much money. What should I do with this money? Come to Avis Casino, where you're guaranteed to lose it all because you just can't win. Get rid of the burden of having too much spending ability. Free yourselves from decisions like, how am I going to eat? Arlington Nationals. Kind of picked apart here. Not able to get at the ball. Here's a blitz. Is he like getting into the Bloodweiser kegs again? He's got to get the knockdown here thanks to block. Is that going to free up Ivan though? He's got the old juggernaut. Malik with the gift sub. Thank you very much for your generosity. Wow! 2 gift subs. Holy moly. Look at that. You caused an injury too. You've made everyone happy. Thank you very much, Malik, for the subs. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you for your kindness. Two-die block by Richard Mastiff. Knocked out another armor break. Wow. Gets a stun out of this. The problem here is stopping the score. Turn 12 for the Goodest boys. Can they get Black Mamba there? They can't get Black Mamba there. I think it might just be the 1-die. He might just go for the 1-die block with the block skill. Two-die back at the line to start the turn. Gets a knockdown here. Looking for an 8+ with Mighty Blow. Mighty Blow gives you a +1 to your armor roll. If you don't need it and you break armor naturally, you can use that +1 to your injury roll instead. The injury roll is Blood Bowl 3 obfuscates it from you, but it's a 2d6 against an injury table. A 2 to 7 is a stun. An 8 or a 9. Oh, an 8 or a 9 is a knockout, and a 10 plus is just needed the push here. That's all they needed. Wait, what? Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. I was like, how are you going to get away? The tackle zone was one space away. Very well done here by the Goodest boys to increase their lead 3-0. And then a 10 plus is a casualty. And then if you roll that 10 plus on the injury table, you roll on one more table. That's the casualty table. You roll a d16. Although in the new game, I think it's... Is it a d8? I think it's a d8 in BB 2025. But in the current rule set, it's a d16. Used to be what Games Workshop referred to as a d68, which was a d6 and a d8. And on a 15 plus, that's where you kill someone. Oh, it's still a d16? I thought it changed. She says, I'm so amused that no one bet on either of the 3 plus options. Look, come on down to Eva's Casino. You can play our slot machines where every time you pull the handle, it just punches you in the stomach. High kick once again, so the Nationals with another opportunity to get under the ball here. Yeah, but I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they changed it to a D8 and changed the table as well. But perhaps not. 3 die block by Dolph Unground. Gets a knockdown here. 8 plus with Mighty Blow. All right, I'm going to get ready for our third game that's starting imminently. All right, I think we're ready to go. Dissatisfaction guaranteed, that's right. Electric Man says, does the plus... Oh, I messed it up again, didn't I? Did I put a plus after all of them? No. Sorry. Boy, I'm an idiot. So dumb. All right, we're going to kick over to our third game here. Good luck to these two coaches. Okay, good. Good.